GoPro, start recording. So as we were talking on the Sabbath, we were talking about chosen. Some believe that the children of Israel actually are here in America due to the fact we were brought here from Africa as slaves. Our ancestors, not us in particular, but our ancestors. And if you can trace your roots back across that water, you're part of that 12 tribes. And keep in mind, 10 were enslaved many thousands of years ago by the Assyrians. They took 10 of the 12 brothers from from Jacob. And then the two that was left was Benjamin and Judah, down in Israel, Jerusalem. 70 AD, Titus came against them and brought total destruction to Jerusalem. We were then migrated to Africa, the Gold Coast, west coast of Africa. The Moors had been there many years prior to Christopher Columbus. As a fact, it was them that gave him the map to get to America. They won't tell you that. But as you start to understand, what is my role if I'm chosen? My role is to obey, worship, and praise God Almighty, the beginner, the creator, the Alpha, the Omega. No one is higher or greater than my Father. That's a fact. Don't matter what religion you worship or praise. There is none higher than him. He gave them their power. Let's just start there. So when you start to talk about praise and worship of God, he has statutes and judgments and testimonies that he established. Passover, for example, coming up within the next month. How about Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, the Festival of Lights, Festival of Horns? The way we on this planet show that we are God's chosen is that we observe those statutes. We observe those precepts. We observe his commandments and we do them. That's how you can establish yourself from the world. If you look like the world, act like the world, talk like the world, it's a good chance that what? You're part of the world. Now when you set yourself aside because you're chosen and there's things that you must observe, people start to look at you different. I didn't even mention the Sabbath. I mean, God said, observe the Sabbath and keep it holy. 7 days you shall work, and on the 6th day you shall rest. We run around this world, in this chaotic world, and we live it according to the world. I do believe there are two in us. You have a good spirit and a bad spirit. God's spirit and Satan's spirit. Satan comes in with a thought, we act on that thought, and we complete it. That's just what it is. Or we hear that thought and we reject that thought because we listen to God's word. But you can't understand his word unless you're in his word. How do I know what heaven's like if I don't study to hear what heaven's like? How do I know what God is if I don't study to find out what God is? How do I know his Son, the Holy One, if I don't study the Word to know who he is? How did I even know he existed if I wasn't chosen? Just a thought. So as we start to understand our charge in being chosen, we should be able to display that we are chosen. We're going to talk on that again too, because there's a lot that we must do. And that's that, not that missionary work. They've already conquered that. But the day-to-day living. Have you ever asked somebody, say, "Ooh, he got a mean spirit. Ooh, he's not nice." Who do you think they're talking about? It's not the outer you that they're talking about. It's the inner you that they're talking about. That spirit, that soul that God put into Adam in the beginning. When he gave him a soul, he gave us a soul as well. Because physically, we are the product of Adam that God made. Spiritually, we come from heaven. God said he built Adam up from the dirt and blew life. He took a spirit from heaven and embodied it into that dirt and made him human and gave him a soul. Imagine that. God has taught me a lot, and he is finished. Let me show you what he has taught me. Till the next time we meet on the Sabbath day, may the Father watch over yours as he watches over mine. Be blessed. GoPro, stop recording.